They're going to bring a pulpit for you, and we're going to let you preach and share your heart out, and I'll take that and set it down.
You take that, and if somebody will bring my bottle of water and my sermon. One of the joys of being 81 is that you get to write your sermons because you don't have any memory left. It's gone, never to be found again. I came into MCC in New York. I heard about it in New Orleans, but I was a school teacher and I was afraid to go to MCC because I had a cushy church job and I didn't want to lose it. So I didn't go to MCC even though I knew about it until I got back to New York, and there was a terrible fire in New Orleans at the upstairs bar. And 27 MCCers were killed in that fire. We were having a memorial service for them in New York at the MCC, and I went to that, and somebody said, "Did you hear what the police commissioner said?" And I said, "No," and he said, "For the unclaimed bodies, we can bury them in fruit jars." Terrible. Terrible. Those days, thank God, are almost over. When I lived in New Orleans, I was one of the first white teachers in the previously all-black school system. I loved living in New Orleans. There was always something going on. Parties, parades, call-outs. It was marvelous. It was, and always will be for me, the Big Easy. My partner was a cocktail pianist in a gay bar when we first got together. She was putting herself through college. None of you are old enough to remember a place called the Personality Lounge. But it had a piano. It had a very bad piano. It had a very old piano. It almost never kept a tune. But it was a piano. And we would gather around it and sing, and my partner would play piano into the wee small hours sometimes, and we enjoyed the old piano. But she kept saying, something has got to be done about this piano. And finally she went to the owner of the bar and she said, "Look, I'm not coming back until you do something about the piano." And he did. He painted it. Some of us are like that. Our lives aren't going too well, and we make cosmetic changes. We get a new lover, apply for a new job, add to our wardrobe, maybe lose weight. I could do that. We just paint the piano. And sometimes it's risky to make the changes we need to make. Nicodemus was a respected Jewish leader of his day. He was a high-ranking Pharisee, a member of the Sanhedrin, the ruling council or court for the Jewish people. Nicodemus knew all about the law, and most certainly he lived his life within the letter of the law. It's believed that Nicodemus was from a very wealthy family. He was a good man, and he was a risk taker. There was something about Jesus that intrigued Nicodemus. Despite his devotion to the law, Nicodemus felt there was something missing in his life. Have you ever been there? Maybe this Jesus had what he needed. Nicodemus was becoming a closet Christian. One night, after all the people who were following Jesus went home, Nicodemus met with Jesus just one-on-one. Nobody needed to know. Nicodemus was curious. He recognized Jesus as a teacher who had come from God. In fact, Nicodemus told Jesus, "No one can do these signs that you do apart from the presence of God." Nicodemus believed that Jesus was sent by God, and he wanted to find out more about him and his teachings. When our lives aren't going well, we need to do more than just paint the piano. Nicodemus came under the cover of darkness to speak with the teacher. Being a respected leader of Judaism, he had to be careful whom he was seen with. Nicodemus felt safe as he made his way through the darkness to meet with Jesus. He felt that Jesus could help him fill the void in his life. And Jesus told Nicodemus, "Very surely I tell you, no one can see the dominion of God without being born from above." Nicodemus misunderstood. How can anyone be born after having grown old? Can one enter a second time into the mother's womb and be born? No one can enter the dominion of God, said Jesus, without being born of the Spirit and in water. I grew up in the Dutch Reformed Church. It was pretty boring. The songs were okay, but the preaching wasn't meant for young people. Reformed church people in those days didn't dance, didn't smoke, didn't drink, or applaud in church. They had to be one of the elect. I was a gay person. Do you think that I ever thought of myself as one of the elect? They were very proper, and they were very strict. When I got to New Orleans, I found a Southern Baptist church. And when I found the Southern Baptists, I thought I'd found freedom. That's how strict I was raised.